It was quite the sight on a Saturday afternoon over South Carolina.
Whoa.
A spectacle, but a moment of potential huge consequence too.
Now, what you've just seen there, guys, is the People's Republic of China, the PRC, a surveillance balloon. Now, this surveillance balloon was purposely traversing the United States and Canada, and, you know, sources are confident that it was actually seeking to monitor sensitive military sites across the United States. That has been confirmed by a senior U.S. administration official. So this is pretty deep, guys. We're going to watch some of the footage of this spy balloon, but was America too late to respond to this incident? I'm going to leave that up to you guys, but I think maybe they were a day or two late with this. Okay, so before we get started, I want to say thank you to everyone who's just started tuning in. My content is American-based content mainly, but we do other things around the globe when there's hot topics. This one in particular, basically a spy balloon, all right? I'm a former commando from the United Kingdom, guys. Thanks for supporting. So, bit of footage, spy balloons, what are they? This is going to explain just that.
Well, hello everybody. I am sitting in my driveway here in Billings, Montana, and right now there is a ground stop on our airport, and this thing is up in the sky, and I have no idea what it is. It's been there stationary for about the last 35 minutes.
Thing is with me, how does China think that they're going to get away with something like this? Are they probing America's response, especially the American military? I think they are. I think they're testing this out. We know, and we've done a video on this the other day about the South China Sea, that tensions are rising there, especially when we're talking about the South China Sea and Taiwan. America's interests over there with regards national security, international security, and controlling the waters over there. I think this is all part of that bigger picture, and it could lead to other things if it continues to escalate. Now, I've only just read, after doing a bit of research on this video, that one of these balloons is apparently in South America somewhere as well. So we're seeing more and more of these balloons being deployed in and around America. So this is more deeper than we can actually first anticipate, guys. I think there's a lot more to this than meets the eye. America potentially needs to be worried about this.
It's about 5:30 on Wednesday, February 1st, 2023. I have no idea what this thing is. I hope it's in focus. I'm shooting at it with about a 500 millimeter lens with a 2x teleconverter on it. So this is at about 1,000 millimeters right now. And for those of you who think this might just be the moon, it is not the moon. The moon is off to my right. I can see it. This is significantly smaller than the moon.
Right, so there's no direct potential for these things to fly close to airlines, which is, you know, when talking about national security, America would be all over this if it was to that altitude. But my personal thoughts to this are, I think America needs to be, you know, if something like this was to happen again, and I think it possibly will in the near future, the very near future, they need to act on this pretty aggressively and pretty quickly, okay? They need to not mess about. It shows that their intention is to not take any crap from China, effectively. But I think China will probably probe again to see what their military response is. I think they should just get straight action straight away, guys, and not mess about, because for all we know, this thing is, you know, obviously it's a surveillance drone. We know that now, but there could be underlying technology involved in this that could cause harm to people if it was to be disguised, for instance, and then that would cause major problems. 3-4 days in America's airs, that's not good enough, I think, guys. I think America needs to respond quicker with that. I think they will from now on. But China, what have they got to say about the matter? They're apparently kicking off at the fact that one of America's fighter pilots shot this thing down, rightfully so. Do you agree with that? Do you not agree with China in terms of them being able to moan and critique America for doing that? I'm with America. I'm on America's side here, guys. But let's look into that right now. So Beijing has slammed the US decision to shoot down a Chinese balloon that flew over the country as the American Navy worked to salvage debris to learn about what the Pentagon says was a spy craft. The Pentagon said two destroyers, the USS Oscar Oskin and USS Philippine Sea, and the USS Carter Hall, a ship with a landing dock, were engaged in a retrieval operation off the coast of South Carolina, where this spy drone was shot down, guys. Now, US defense officials said Navy divers would attempt to collect pieces of the balloon and its payload, which hangs below the balloon and contains surveillance equipment, because the debris had fallen into a relatively shallow part of the Atlantic, which is only about 47 feet deep. So America decided to shoot this thing down out of the sky, which I think possibly a day or two late. I think they should have acted on that pretty quick and sharply. I mean, gathering what happened September the 11th, all right, I think they should have been a little bit more swift within their airspace to be able to just get this thing the hell out of there. We don't know what damage this could have caused. Thank goodness it hasn't caused any that we know of yet. But hours after an American F-22 fighter jet shot down the balloon with a Sidewinder missile, Beijing accused Washington of seriously violating international conventions. Now, the cheek of that statement alone. Beijing has the audacity to accuse Washington of seriously violating international conventions, i.e. shouldn't be able to shoot down this spy drone when we are able to, you know, when you think about what they're doing in the South China Sea, the protocols that they're quite simply ignoring, the rules and regulations of the sea, i.e. the 200-mile radius out from your land is pretty much effectively your economic zone. They decide to extend further and further out into the South China Sea, into neighbouring countries such as the Philippines and stuff, completely ignoring borders and regulations in that radius as well, that economic zone in the sea. So they've got the audacity to say that to America. I think it's really cheeky. I think they are trying to increase the tensions with America. And I think it's got a little bit to do with the South China Sea, to be fair. And we're seeing that now. How is America going to continue to respond to these little things that they're doing? Well, America needs to be a lot quicker, I think, for a start. The quicker they are with this, the nip it in the bud situation is what I think needs to happen, guys. And Beijing is repeating its claim that it was a balloon for civilian use that had veered off course due to bad weather. I'm not having that one, guys. The Chinese Defense Ministry said it would reserve the right to use the necessary means to deal with similar situations. The Chinese Defense Ministry wouldn't be able to do anything in terms of how they launch their Chinese defense systems into America. They're not going to be able to do anything anyway. Let's get that straight, guys. In terms of what they do near to their country, that might be a different story completely. But in terms of America's airspace, yeah, they're not going to do anything. So these threats are, to me, just you might as well just ignore them. That's what I would say. Now, the F-22 Raptor fired an air-to-air missile at the balloon at 2:39 p.m. on Saturday when it was 6 nautical miles off the coast in US airspace, causing the balloon to crash into American territorial waters. Democrats on Sunday praised President Joe Biden for ordering the military to shoot down the balloon. Yeah, credit where due, guys. We have to give credit where due. But I think... Let's be honest. How do I do this without getting too political? I don't want to upset anyone, but Sleepy Joe is his nickname over here in the UK, and Sleepy Joe tends to do things a little bit too slow. And I think this was done a little bit too slow, Joe. All right, you need to start upping the ante a little bit and just responding quicker. Listen, there was a spy drone in your airspace, American airspace. Get it out there. You've got all of the equipment, the ordnance, the military technology and capability and backing to just say, you know what? We don't need to look at this. Let's just get it out of there. If it doesn't look right, let's get rid of it. Simple as that. President Biden was too slow, I think. But President Biden made the right decision to shoot down this alleged Chinese spy balloon out of range of American civilians and infrastructure. Yeah, he did make the right decision. That was said by Jack Reed, the Democratic Senate Armed Services Committee chair. But some Republicans asked why Biden had not ordered the military to take action before the balloon, which entered US airspace over Alaska on January 28th, had flown across sensitive military sites. This was way too long. This took way too long, guys. It should not be able to go over to military sites. When you think about the information that these spy drones can get, that's integral to keeping operational national security intact, guys. And it might have information out there that just shouldn't be in China's hands, guys. Taking it down over Atlantic in sort of like a tackling the quarterback after the game is over, said Mike Turner, head of House Intelligence Intelligence Committee. The satellite had completed its mission. It should never have been allowed to enter the United States. I agree. As soon as it got close to the United States, it should have been getting the hell out of their troops. Defense officials said they did not down the balloon on land because of the risk to civilians, but they added that the United States had monitored its course and gathered intelligence on it as it crossed Northern America. I'm not being funny, guys. It's a potential threat to civilians anyway by being there, by the information that it can gather. So, risk and reward situation. Should this thing have been shot down in a controlled environment? I think it should have been shot down a lot quicker, guys. This thing should have been monitored before it came into US airspace. And it should have been trajected of where it's going to go and shot down well before it got anywhere near US mainland, guys. But that's just my opinion. What do I know? What has not been understood is that this actually provided a number of days to analyze the balloon and learn a lot about what this balloon is doing, how it was doing it, said the center. So that's a good bit of an intelligence piece. You can't tell me that America doesn't know how these things work. All right, the technology that they have, you can't tell me that they haven't got the means to understand what this thing is doing, how it's doing it, where it's doing it within a few hours of seeing this thing. Does it need 2 or 3 days to work that out? Let's not undermine U.S. intelligence like that, guys, okay? Now, Marco Rubino, Republican vice chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee, said that Biden should have spoken to U.S. public during the week, but that administration was forced on trying to salvage the trip that Secretary of State Anthony Blinken was supposed to make China this weekend. Chinese spy balloon. Let's have a look at this bad boy yet
Could
again.
be it. He's going right at it. Look at him.
He is. Something's happening.
Yep, there's 2 of them. Yep.
So that's the
Boom!
missile gone off to the side and it's hit it there. Video
Oh my
quality
God,
is
they
terrible.
got it! They got it!
See the debris?
That's how it should have been.
Oh my gosh!
That's how it should have been done, guys. I think they responded too late. It's a little bit, how can I put it? It's sad to see that the response took so long, I'll be honest with you. I wish they were a little bit quicker on that. Now, you might be thinking that this sort of thing is, it's the first time it's happened. We can give them 2 or 3 days. Yeah, maybe next time it's not going to happen that way. But, guys, I've got news for you. One of the greatest intelligence services on this planet, the British Intelligence Service, and I'm very proud of that as well. British defence officials have actually claimed that China has flown at least 18 spy drone sorties around military sites and powerful infrastructure facilities between 2019 and 2021. So over the space of a few years, that's it's flown many of these things in and around, okay? This is reported by the Mirror, by the way. Now, China is intent on stealing British secrets, said an unnamed intelligence source. So there probably is going to be in the same thought pattern with American intelligence as well, wanting to be able to take their secrets and do whatever they wish with it, all right? Knowledge is power. Now, there is a network of Chinese spies in the UK and the United States, and they use any means necessary to steal classified information. We know they've been targeting very sensitive establishments such as military bases and nuclear power stations by using drones. So this is not old news, not new news, guys. This is old news. This has been going on a long time. It's just coming to a head now. Now, the new allegations come after January 22nd, warning from Britain's spy agency MI5 that Chinese agent had infiltrated the British Parliament to steal secrets, basically. So this is worrying, guys. There's definitely a lot more to this. It's not just a spy drone, a civilian one that went into international space. It's part of a bigger picture. And if you think about it, if China has been deploying these drones globally in certain areas to be able to take information, that gives them a lot of power and leverage to be able to use that information however they wish, guys, okay? Now, drone sightings were also reported at the atomic weapons establishment in Berkshire in the United Kingdom. So these facilities are really, really strategically valuable, and they need to be kept secret, guys, all right? You can't have drones flying over these things, taking information whenever they want. But China's drone industry has produced several surveillance and combat drones the past few years, so they're going to be utilizing those, to the best of their ability. I'll bore you with the statistics of these things if you want to go and look them up. The drones that they use normally are the WJ700, the WJ600, and the WJ500, and Sword Dragon. UK authorities declined to specify which Chinese drones may have been deployed to gather intelligence in Britain around the British facilities. Probably similar. In fact, these drones are different to the ones that were utilized in the United States, because the one in the United States was a drone balloon. I don't know the technical name for that, but the ones in the United Kingdom were the old school drone systems. I believe it wasn't a balloon, which is, you know, actively using wind to get it to where it needs to go. Quite a different beast, guys, okay? But this is a problem. I think this is going to be an ongoing problem for countries like America and Britain if we don't step up the ante. What does stepping up the ante mean? It doesn't necessarily mean firing weapons and stuff like that, but it means getting your active kit and equipment, your planes into the airspace and defending it before it even gets to the point of where these things are over the mainland. These things should be monitored effectively and shot down, and not even have the opportunity to get into our airspace and take what they need, guys. So key learning points for this: make sure that you stop it, nip it in the bud straight away, and act a little bit faster. That's my key points, guys. If you want to watch more content like this, but an ad-free, uncensored version of it, please consider joining the Patreon. Link is in the description. We've got a fantastic bunch of people on there now on Patreon. And yeah, please consider joining that. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Guys, thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Take it easy. Bye.